So I want to get us back to thinking in terms of the general storyboarding process we learned, and take a script and do shot breakdown and thumbnails. But to do that, we need to look at how we create and manage our panels. So I've got Storyboard Pro's terminology preferences in live action mode. So up here, you'll see that we have buttons for creating new panels, new shots, and new scenes. However, if our terminology preference is set to animation, you'll have the same buttons, but they will be labeled New Panel, New Scene, and New Sequence. Apart from what things get labeled, the functionality is the same. I'm going to stick with the live action terminology because that's mostly how we've been talking about things so far. So down here in our thumbnails, you can see that we've just got the one panel. Now we can either use the New Panel button up here, or right-click and choose New Panel, or use the P keyboard shortcut. Either way, it will add a new panel after whichever one you have selected. However, if we click the New Shot button, it also adds a panel, but it's separate from the others. It's inside a new gray box. So these gray boxes indicate separate shots. Also, once you have more thumbnails, if you want to condense them down a little bit, shots have this tiny minus sign in the corner of them. If you click that, the shot collapses down to just displaying the first panel. Click it again to expand the shot again. Also over on the right, you can collapse or expand all shots at once. This might make it easier to browse around for the specific shot you're looking for. Similarly, if we click the New Scene button, now we have a new panel inside a new gray box, but inside a new blue scene box. You can also use this button or the right-click menu to duplicate whatever panels you have selected. And you can use this button, the Smart Add Panel button, which basically duplicates the currently selected panel, but you choose only the specific layers that you want to duplicate from it. So say a panel had a background drawn in on the background layer, you could duplicate it, but just keep the background layer and then draw a new character pose over top of it. If you want to reorder panels, you can click and drag by the corner of their title bars. And if you want to delete one, either use the Delete Panel button or right-click and choose Delete Selected Panels, or just use the Delete key. Now if you look on the Panel tab up here, you can see it's automatically numbering our scenes, shots, and panels. So far, we've just been adding our new panels onto the end of the list. But what happens if we want to insert a new shot in the middle of a scene? I'll select a panel in this scene and choose New Shot to add one after it. Now it's trying to figure out how it should name this new shot. It's trying to add a shot after the one we had selected, which is shot 1. It can't name it 2 because there's already a shot 2. So it's named it 1A instead. And now it's bringing up the Rename Shot dialog box in case we want to actually renumber all the shots instead. So why wouldn't you want it to automatically renumber everything? Well, imagine we're revising a board that's already been sent out and the director is giving us feedback that refers to specific shot numbers and panel numbers from the board. If adding a shot automatically renumbered all the subsequent shots, we'd quickly lose track of what shots the director's notes were referring to. So putting a letter on the end is a better solution in that case, until everything is addressed. But in this case, this is a new board, so let's just renumber everything. To do that, change this Renaming Rule dropdown to Renumber All Shots in Current Scene. Then it will show you a list of all the current shot names and what they'll be changed to. If we change this to start at 1 instead of 1A, You can see that now under the new names, it will give us all the right numbers. Now, if you're going to be inserting lots of shots, you don't need to rename everything every time. Just let it insert new shots with letters, and when you're done, you can right-click and choose Select All Panels. Then go up to Storyboard, Rename Shot, and we get the Rename dialog box again. Just change the renaming rule dropdown to renumber selected shots and start at 1. And you'll see it's going to set the new names to the correct numbers for wherever they come in their scenes. You'll run into the same issue if you split existing shots or scenes in half. Let's say these panels are actually supposed to be separate shots, but I put them together by mistake. You can just select this panel and go to Storyboard, Split Current Shot, and we get our same renaming issue. Now let's say these shots are supposed to be separate scenes. I select the first panel, go up to Storyboard, Split Current Scene, and now we get the same issue with our scene numbers. Fortunately, this works the same way. Just keep in mind that if you're doing all your renaming at the very end of your process, Rename Shot and Rename Scene are separate commands on the storyboard menu. So if you've done a lot of restructuring, don't forget to do both. That's all you need to know about managing your scenes, shots, and panels. Next, we can use what we just learned to bring in a script and break it down into panels. We'll look at that in the next video. I'll see you there.